What's going on, guys, and welcome back to the channel. I'm Chris, this is 4K Motoring, and today we've got a new product from Auxito. It is their lithium portable air compressor. Now, you guys have seen me test one of these before on the channel from a different company, and I'm gonna go ahead and tell you what I think about Auxito's latest offering, what history I have with Auxito, and try and answer the basic question, is this any good? Alright, so previously you guys saw this Gulu branded battery air compressor. And it is a battery bank, it's got lights, and it is an air compressor, portable air compressor. I have been using this thing for weeks now and using it frequently. Let me tell you, it works well. Again, my criticism before with the overall brightness of this thing, you can't see it in daylight. So that just is what it is. If you guys are working outside all the time, you are not going to be able to see the display on this thing in daylight. It's not bright enough. But in a garage, inside, at night, any time like that, it is definitely bright enough. It is easy to set the pressure, easy to connect, and it has a big enough battery. It can do a couple tires, or at least top things off pretty easily without a concern. I've now had the Auxito version for a little while, and there are a lot of similarities. Overall, they have the same charging ports, the same light, and the same basic mode of operations as far as how you press the buttons, the way the menus work. So I'm pretty sure probably a Chinese controller is being used, and it's the same controller for both of these units. They have different size batteries, of course. The overall build quality does look a little nicer on the Auxito model, as I would expect. They seem to do a little bit better as far as build quality in my experience. But it has a couple takeaways that I don't like as well. So let's get into that, and I'll tell you exactly how this thing works. So to power this thing on very easily, we're going to press and hold. We have a notice that we are on. And then, like all these others, there is our little circle button to change kind of what mode we're in, which I think is silly. And here's why. I don't think it really matters to anybody, whether it's a car, a bicycle, a different bicycle, or a basketball. I think it's easier for somebody to just be able to type in exactly what pressures they want and roll with that. Now, this display is a little bit brighter than the greenish display that was on the Gulu, and in bright sunlight I was able to see this. It wasn't super visible, but it was visible in the daytime, so that does give this one an edge. But there are a couple drawbacks. To use it, the air chuck is basically the screw-on air hose, and now I hate these screw-on ones, especially when you have a quick disconnect air hose to the unit that is just a half-turn fitting, because as you start twisting in the cord to connect it to something, it will untwist itself here and dump air out. This is a little bit harder to use than something like the old school clip from the Gulu, and I wish something like that would end up on the Auxito. It does make it a lot easier to use. That said, it is easy just to set your PSI in half PSI increments. And then we can go ahead and just screw it on here. Here, air leaking, we can see the pressure. See as we get tight. So we are leaking now from the actual air chuck here. There we go. So that took a little finessing, and if this thing isn't seated right because it twists when you turn that, it ends up leaking out of here. So I think that's kind of a design flaw that they're gonna have to work through. But we can see the PSI of the tire is telling us right now is at 32.5. We want it at 36. We can just press that start button. There we go, and that was how quick it went from 32 to 36 PSI. This is a 120/70/19 motorcycle tire. And you'll see when I unscrew it, you get some air leakage as well for just a moment. Now, compared to the Gulu, it is a little harder to operate with that twist-in connector, which I think is a little bit annoying. It is a little bit smaller overall in the footprint, which is nice. That means it does have a little bit smaller battery. Doesn't seem to have any heat issues, at least exhausting the battery it does, so that's nice. The other thing I'll take away is while the display is a little bit brighter and a little bit better for sunlight usage, the battery indicator is really hard to read. They basically have a battery icon that stays solid. It just changes from like a reddish orange to a yellow to a green to let you know kind of what range your battery's in, as opposed to the Gulu that has the 4-cell battery. Now, I've had Auxito lights in my truck now for a couple years since they sent them to me, and they have been working great. They've been holding up over time pretty well without an issue, and they're insanely bright. I do like how high quality their LEDs are. Again, I have a discount code for Auxito products. Enter the code 4KMoto. Link is down below, and it'll save you a little bit of money on these products if you're interested. As far as their air compressors go, I like that they're in this market now. I think it's a developing market, and that's where lithium jump starters have been. Air compressors are now going. The Auxito one's not perfect, neither is the Gulu. Somewhere in between, we probably have a perfect unit, and I'm still waiting to find it. So at the end of the day, I think it's a really good idea to have one of these portable tire inflators with you in your vehicle, whether it's a motorcycle or a car. And here are the takeaways, I guess, that I would steer you towards one of these versus the other. Now, the Auxito comes in this teeny tiny box. It is a very compact unit, and it works well. So for a motorcycle or something where space is limited, the Auxito is a great product, and I don't think you'd really be disappointed with it. Again, it has that little issue with the screw-on cap that I don't really like, but is it a deal breaker? No, not at all. So I'll leave a link to this one down in the description below. Again, this is the smaller unit. A lot more compact, a little issue, a little annoyance with the hose, but it's nice insurance to take with you everywhere. Like I mentioned, they also double as battery banks, so if you need to charge your phone or something, it's just a great one-size unit to have with you at all times. Now, if space is not really a big consideration, something like the Gulu charger that I've used before, that I've showed you guys, a little bit larger than the Auxito, but man, it works and it works well. It is easy to use, it has a little bit bigger battery, and it may fit your needs a little bit better if you have more space to store it. I want to thank Auxito for all their support of the channel, for everything they've sent to us, for sending us this new unit. Really enjoy testing this new technology and sharing it with you guys to show what's out there, what works and what doesn't. If you guys have any questions about these units, feel free to let me know down in the comments below. I'll try and answer as many as I can. Down in the description below, I'll have links to these products if you want to check them out. I also have a link to Auxito's website where I have a discount code that will save you money on all their products. Their LEDs, like I've talked about before, are really fantastic. I think they're the highest quality replacement LEDs that I've ever seen for a vehicle. As always, if you haven't already, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to 4K Motoring. If there's anything that you guys want to see on the channel, let me know and I'll see if I can get my hands on it to test it for you. Otherwise, we'll see you guys next time.